Hey guys, I'm playing through RollerCoaster Tycoon Classic, and today's video is my take on Leafy Lake. We're going to try to meet the objective. The scenario is to have at least 500 guests in your park in October year 3 with a park rating of 600. We're going to mainly be doing rides that we purchase and don't design. However, I think I have 2 designed rides in this park at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. If you dig deep into your suppressed RollerCoaster Tycoon memories, you're going to remember that Leafy Lake is the map with a giant lake. This could be a benefit to your roller coasters. I've been watching a lot of tutorials on the internet lately, and apparently if you build your roller coaster on top of water, it increases the excitement or something. I don't know. I didn't really take that into consideration when I was building this roller coaster. I was just like, hey, the game is RollerCoaster Tycoon. The first ride that I'm going to open in this park is a roller coaster. And then I'm also going to immediately hire a mechanic and then drop him into the water. I'm not really quite sure if he's here for the right reasons. I know that he's not here to make friends, but I really can't have a mechanic that's not here for the right reasons. Just kidding, this isn't that kind of YouTube video. If you want to watch people kill guests and employees on RollerCoaster Tycoon, I'm pretty sure there's a video somewhere on YouTube for that, but it's not this video. We're actually going to be trying to meet this objective. I admit it is a bit of a power play to open by building a roller coaster, so now I'm going to build the less exciting rides. Starting with the Ferris wheel, it's a crowd favorite. I always ride Ferris wheels when I go to amusement parks, mainly because I hate roller coasters. But hey, you know, to each their own. So we're gonna throw this Ferris wheel up there. I like to build short queue lines for these lower excitement rating rides, just because it's only going to fill up if it's super cheap or if it's new. And then after that, you're never gonna have a full line again. So I'm gonna build a Ferris wheel. Then I also try to scope the area to see if I can build another roller coaster. Spoiler alert, not yet. And then I'm gonna build a scrambler. Put the scrambler on the grass near the entrance, just so I can get that interest when a person enters the park. Then I'm gonna hire some custodians and mechanics before we build a food court area. I don't know the actual best way to do this. This is something I'm gonna have to develop some kind of experience with, but I'm building this dining area under the roller coaster. I think that's a neat thing to do. Something I've noticed a lot about RollerCoaster Tycoon Classic is the guests stopping on the paths to admire the rides, and I think this actually makes them want to go on the rides more. I think that after they watch it, they sometimes get the thought that they want to go on the ride. So I'm trying to put as many paths going through roller coasters as possible, and I think a good way to do that is by putting a dining area in there. Also, always charge to use the bathrooms, because they're gonna pay and they're gonna like it because they need to use the bathroom, and there's no way around that except for leaving. So I'm tucking this dining area underneath this roller coaster, which means I'm never gonna see it again, so I have to hire a custodian just for this area, because I'm literally never gonna check on it because it's super inconvenient to do. Alright, so now we're gonna add a bathroom to the front of the park. This is April year 1. We have 200 guests in the park. We have 3 rides, the Ferris wheel, the scrambler ride, the roller coaster, and we have a little dining area. We're suddenly going to jump to September year 2 with over 900 guests, because apparently I didn't save the video properly of the in-between time. Whoops, sorry. I have to get into the habit of naming my save files differently, so if I accidentally mess up a recording, I can go back and do that footage over again. So what we've got now is we have the information kiosks, we have some more roller coasters, and I added a rowing boat system to get around the park faster. I would like to do a monorail sometime in the future, or even a little railroad. I love trains. This time I went for the rowing boats because I think they're really ridiculous and it's the most inefficient way to get around the park possible, but I love it. And they pay for it, so we're gonna do it. At this point, we have 3 roller coasters and 1 raging rapids. I don't actually know the term for that kind of ride, but you know, you're sitting on the circle rafts and you do the things. We also have a spiral slide, a food court, a Ferris wheel, the system of getting around the park via rowboats, which is just ridiculous, and I can't believe it actually works. and the Scrambler ride. Now is a better time than ever to add another roller coaster. Something that I learned about this game is that the older a roller coaster gets, the less interest it generates from just the general population. So I'm going to try to regularly add rides and roller coasters or change little things about the rides to get that interest back up. Also, running marketing campaigns, or I guess they're called advertising campaigns in this game, is something that I recommend doing. The main reason why I want to make this series is to show that this version of the game, this mobile app that is on my Nexus 5X, is a complete and total port of the original game that I loved so much. A lot of the interface is different. Obviously, it's been optimized by mobile, but this core game is the same. And adding the benches or manipulating the ride's paths actually has a really big input on how the ride's going to perform and how many people it's going to generate interest with. This game is really good. From everything that I'm seeing so far, it is a complete mobile port of the desktop game. And I've not really played this game much since my childhood, and even then I just dabbled in it and, mostly killed guests. And now I'm actually trying to find out what the game designers were building when they were building this game. So I'm slowly but surely learning some things about it. If you guys want to learn me a thing or two in the comments about, hey, you don't put nearly enough something or another in my park, go ahead and let me know. Like I said, since recording this footage, I've actually watched a lot of tutorials and learned a lot about putting TVs in the queue lines or scenery around your roller coasters. Stuff that I would have never really considered having much input in the game. And I'm even starting to think maybe my pathways are just too thin. That's part of the reason why people think it's crowded in my park. Who would have thought that that's a thing that my guests actually care about? As soon as balloon stalls come available, I put those everywhere. I absolutely infect my park with balloon stalls because guests heckin' love that stuff. I don't even understand why, or even if having different colored balloons at different stalls adds into this, but guests love this stuff. And did you just see that? It's getting dark in my park, which only means one thing. It means that sweet, sweet umbrella money is about to start pouring. I charge guests $7.50 for each umbrella, so there's always a noticeable spike in my money when it starts to rain. It's so sweet. As I play, I like to try to pay back my loans so A, I could take out more loans, and B, so I could be fiscally responsible, because I feel like that's very important. Something I'm trying to figure out, one of those things that's high up on my Roller Coaster Tycoon must-learn priority list, is how to price for entrance to roller coasters. During this recording, I figured out that I could actually jack the prices up very high and still have people want to ride the roller coasters. And the reasons why they actually end up leaving the park is because they can't afford anything. So I need to find that sweet, sweet balance of they're willing to pay, but after they pay, they can't do anything else in the park. On this objective, I spent a lot of time working on the rapids. I like this ride a lot. Like I mentioned before, it's like my favorite ride at actual amusement parks because it can't really hurt you. You just get like a little wet and it's very bumpy. I love boats, so I love boating. I love the water. It really plays into my natural interests. So what I actually want to do in one of my future videos is an entire park that just is like log flume rides, just varying types of log flume rides, and seeing if I can meet that base objective that I know some of the earlier challenges have, that's like have 600 guests in your park at the end of year 3 or something like that. And I want to see if I can do it with just log flume rides, because I think that would be very funny and just enjoyable in general. I guess I could do the same thing with rapids, but I don't think the excitement level gets too high with the rapids. Now I'm adding a mouse coaster. I really like the mouse coasters because they can do really tight turns, but also deep drops, and it's a wooden roller coaster, which I think is a neat aesthetic. I spent a lot of time messing with the entrance and the exit and the queue lines for really no reason. I'm trying to get in the habit of making all of my exits by default go past the entrance, so if they like the ride, they can immediately do it again, and I could just set up a cycle of continuous riding. Growing up, I know something I always loved doing was making a coaster with 2 station platforms and the one station platform lets out inside of the roller coaster, and having basically the entire theme park be inside the track of this roller coaster, of course you get tons of guests angry and they want to go home eventually and they can't find a way home because there's no path to lead them home. I would love to explore some kind of doing that while also completing objectives. I don't really see that happening. Also, just generally capturing guests and keeping them on plots of land separate from the rest of the park. That kind of stuff is fun, and I don't really know if you can do that kind of stuff while also meeting the challenge objectives for the game. So possibly looking into doing that in the future. I would think it'd be very fun to just have an enclosed park where they actually can't get out. Ooh, so the go-karts. One of my favorite tracks was in the shape of an 8, and I guess it wasn't actually a pre-designed track. I always thought it was. It's like an 8, but it goes over itself. Since I can't find it, I'm just gonna go ahead and build it myself. This is definitely one of my favorite rides. I love the go-karts. They're always very popular. The guests love it. And I think it's really cool because, hey, go-karts are cool. Once I add the go-karts, then I will go ahead and build an observational deck. This ride isn't very popular. I mean, it's not a very exciting ride. However, I've never been to an amusement park where there was one of these, and so it's like I want to provide it for my guests because I think it's kind of neat in theory. So I'm gonna build one of these. Then I'm just gonna do some general account cleanup, just look around the park, see what people are thinking about what, and we've pretty much arrived at our destination. Like, we've secured everything that we wanted to in this. The park definitely exceeds all expectations. We've got a great guest count, and clearing this objective was easy peasy. So thanks for watching. I'm pretty impressed with myself for doing all this recording on my Android and not messing up too much. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to try to do some more of this. I really love Roller Coaster Tycoon, and I hope that you guys like it too. Thanks. Bye.